Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Back to basic session. So this is not a session that is meant to be too highbrow and too complicated, but at the same time, I'm going to do what I call boil the frog. I don't know how many of you did science. I stayed away from it as much as I could as a kid because I could never ever handle the thought of doing dissection and all the rest back in the day. But what there's a scientific fact that says that if you put a frog into boiling hot water, it'll jump straight out. But if you put a frog into room temperature water and slowly turn up the heat, it stays. And that's kind of what I take the back to basics session to be, is that we start very, very basic, hopefully, and then we get more and more complicated. I keep on turning up the heat and turning up the heat and turning up the heat. And by the time we finish the session, you're all the way to where you hopefully need to be, and you are comfortable and understand everything that's going on, and you don't actually realize how far you've come along in the journey. So that is the plan for today. We've got a nice crowd in that I am hoping we have lots of conversation and lots of chats. So please put your comments through and your questions through in the chat box. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it quite closely so that I can catch any of your queries, catch any of the ideas that you may have. If I lose you anywhere, please let me know that I've lost you so that I can pull you back into the fold, and we can have just a good cafe Sunday chat about foreign exchange transactions and recording them and dealing with them. This is most probably one of my purest accounting sessions. I do think that, it's one of those sessions that actually is quite journal-based and quite numbers-based as opposed to theory-based, which is a bit of a challenge when you are doing it on a webinar basis. When I do the session live, I really do come with very, very few slides and lots of whiteboard, flip chart paper, and we spend pretty much the 2 hours scribbling madly across the page and across the whiteboard. So I'm going to have to try and adapt the way that I do it, and I hope I don't lose anything in a changed medium, but we will have some fun with it and see what we can do with it through today's session. It's Friday, so I hope that you're all well, you've survived the week, and that you are ready for a bit of a break this weekend. That's me, okay? I actually have some updated photos. I need to sort of change that. I think each time I do a session, I should put a new photo up just so that you don't get bored, I don't get bored. But that is what I look like on the other side. Not really what I'm looking like today. I'm a bit more casual than that. But that is me. This is who I am. If you haven't met me before, it's awesome to have new people on the sessions. If you have met me before, then you're familiar with who I am and where I come from. I have to say, doing forex and doing this type of session takes me back to my roots. I lectured third year and fourth year accounting for 12 years or so back at the university to my students. So I do have a bit of a sense this morning of going back to my beginnings, which is awesome. And it's great. Financial accounting was my first love. And it's always good to revisit it and to play there again. So, getting into today's topic, now that we've got all the admin sorted out. Forex, foreign exchange translation, foreign exchange transactions. Why is it so important? Why do we have to get this right? Well, can I just say that, I usually do this session as part of what we call a 360 session. By the way, the 360 sessions are sessions, Jeremiah doesn't even know about this, that we're going to be introducing to SAAA. My tax partner and I are going to be running some dual training sessions where she and I bicker like an old married couple. But we take topics and we delve into those topics from all angles. So we do them from accounting, tax, legislation, auditing, ethics, And it's not really about doing an accounting topic as much as doing a topic from all angles. And, foreign exchange is one that we are definitely looking at very closely at the moment and have been for quite a while, because forex used to be seen as very specialist. Forex used to be something that, you'd have that one client that dealt with foreign exchange transactions or that was importing or exporting. And the rest of the time, it wasn't something that you ever came across. Now it's becoming commonplace. It's becoming an everyday transaction. We are part of a global economy. We are part of a global community. We are importing, exporting. We are in our personal lives crossing borders daily in, the internet and with the way that we communicate and the way that we work with each other. I was even on this platform. I've often had people from around the world sitting in on the sessions that we're doing. We are engaging and collaborating with people all around the world, and that means that the way that the funds are transferred and are moving is in a global context. It's no longer that we are just sitting within our borders, trading within our borders, working within our borders, which makes this a 360-degree topic often, because when Carmen and I chat, we look at the exchange controls and we look at the tax issues. You could even go to the point of looking at Bitcoin and as a different type of currency, and all the issues and challenges that come around from that. So what we have here is we are identifying a situation of you have a currency that you work in. Okay. And one of the points that we'll unpack today is, and the very starting point of it is, you have a functional currency. You have a currency that you keep your records in, that you keep your Pastel or Xero or QuickBooks in, that you discuss and transact in, and that you come across transactions that are in other currencies and other designations. And now you have to bring those currencies back to your functional currency. And the whole mechanism around that, all the thinking and processing around that. Okay. Very much upfront, that we have to get into our heads from an accounting point of view is that there are two distinct transactions that happen here. You're going to have the actual transaction, the underlying transaction. You buy inventory, you sell inventory, you buy plant, you sell plant. And that is the transaction, the primary transaction that is potentially in a different currency. And then there's a secondary step that some companies or some people do or may not do, which is to hedge the transaction. Now, these two ideas are separate. They are totally different ideas. One comes from foreign currency translation, and the other comes from financial instruments. And we need to unhitch them. Too often they are amalgamated together, they are forged together, they are treated as a single thing, a single idea, and they are not. They're two separate ideas. So the first point I want to make in this back to basics thinking is that we've got to break this down into baby steps. We've got to break this down into little ideas. And the first idea is that you have two distinct transactions, one being the underlying transaction of what we are trading in or working with, and then the second transaction being the hedging or the financial management of that transaction. Okay, so we have that. So today is going to be about how do we translate the transactions, as well as getting into the hedging. The hedging is obviously taking this into, maybe I'm giving my age away when I say a higher grade level. That's when I'm going to start turning up the heat a little bit. But also with the moment we head into the financial instrument, financial hedging type space, it's about risk management. Okay, it's about managing your risks. And as South African ideas are, we are in an emerging market economy, okay? We are often lumped with some rather challenging economies around the world, which means that we've got quite a fluctuating currency, and we need to deal with that risk. Which is what we have to manage and discuss
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.